Waking up at 5 a.m. is more than just setting an early alarm. It represents a mindset that chooses purpose over comfort, growth over stagnation, and intention over routine. At 5 a.m., you're not simply reacting to the world. You're leading yourself before the world even begins to pull at you. It's a mental declaration that you are in control of your life. Most people wait for motivation or ideal conditions to act, but those who rise early understand that success begins with structure. The discipline to get out of bed while it's still dark rewires your brain to operate with clarity and focus. It separates the dreamers from the doers. At 5 a.m., you make a powerful statement, not just to the world but to yourself. You prove that your time, your energy, and your life belong to you. This mindset is not about perfection, it's about consistency. It's about building momentum when the rest of the world is still asleep. That mental edge gives you a head start in every area of life: your fitness, your focus, your faith, your finances. The power of 5 a.m. is not in the minute hand. It's in the decision to live deliberately, not by default. That decision changes everything. The way you start your day determines how you carry yourself through the rest of it. Waking up at 5 a.m. allows you to take full control of your morning, before the world can demand anything from you. This is your golden hour, uninterrupted, quiet, and powerful. When you begin your day with focus, intention, and movement, you build a wave of momentum that carries into every decision and action. Instead of rushing, reacting, or scrambling through your day, you step into it with clarity and strength. The early morning provides the mental space to set your goals, visualize your success, and align your priorities. It allows you to get ahead while others are still behind. Every task you complete in those early hours, whether it's exercise, journaling, meditation, or deep work, fuels your sense of progress. And progress creates energy. That energy builds confidence, and confidence builds unstoppable momentum. It becomes easier to say no to distractions, easier to focus on what matters, and easier to stay grounded in your purpose. A powerful morning eliminates the chaos of indecision. You already won your first battle, getting up and showing up. When your day starts strong, it rarely ends in weakness. Momentum is earned early. Most people crave success, but few are willing to do what it truly requires. Waking up at 5 a.m. is a decision that separates the average from the exceptional. It's easy to hit snooze, stay in bed, and postpone effort for comfort. But greatness was never built on convenience. Extraordinary individuals understand that discipline is the foundation of every achievement. They embrace what others avoid. They choose the harder path, not because it's glamorous, but because it produces results. The quiet discipline of waking up early sharpens your mental edge. It trains your mind to push through resistance and discomfort. And that mindset doesn't just stay in the morning, it follows you into everything you do. It influences how you lead, how you work, how you grow. When you do what's difficult, you gain an inner power most people never experience. You begin to trust yourself. You start living with integrity, because you've proven to yourself that your word means something. While others are still making excuses, you're already 2 steps ahead. Success doesn't require perfection. It demands consistency, and consistency is born from doing what most people won't. Getting up at 5 a.m. is not about being better than others. It's about becoming better than you were yesterday. Mental toughness is not something you're born with. It's something you build day by day, choice by choice. Waking up at 5 a.m. is one of the most effective ways to train your mind to become stronger, more focused, and more resilient. Every time you rise early, especially when you don't feel like it, you override your emotions with your mission. You silence the excuses with action. That decision, made repeatedly, creates a habit of strength. It conditions you to act based on purpose, not feelings. The early hours test your willpower. They challenge your comfort zone, and in that challenge you find clarity. You discover that you're capable of doing hard things consistently. That realization becomes a foundation for confidence. It's not about being fearless. It's about acting despite resistance. Mental toughness means showing up for yourself even when no one is watching, even when there's no immediate reward, even when it would be easier to quit. Waking up at 5 a.m. is a quiet form of self-respect. It's a way of telling yourself, I am disciplined, I am focused, I am committed, and over time, those repeated acts of discipline become who you are. A mentally strong person is not built overnight, but it begins before sunrise. The most powerful transformations in life don't happen in front of crowds. They happen in silence, in solitude, and often in the earliest hours of the morning. At 5 a.m., while the world is still asleep, you're creating something few people will ever see, the inner foundation of success. The early hours are when you develop your mindset, your habits, and your discipline. It's where you practice consistency even when no one is applauding. The results people admire in public are built in the private hours that most ignore. There's no applause at 5 a.m. There's no recognition. But there is progress. And that's where real change begins. You're not doing it for validation. You're doing it because you made a decision to grow. You're doing it because you value your potential more than temporary comfort. The work you do in those quiet hours shapes your identity. It teaches you that you don't need an audience to be excellent. You don't need motivation when you have commitment. Every page you write, every rep you complete, every thought you journal, every plan you create, it all adds up. The world eventually sees the results. But the real work, the real transformation happens when no one is watching. Discipline is often misunderstood as a restriction, when in truth, it is the path to ultimate freedom. Waking up at 5 a.m. may feel difficult in the moment, but every time you do it, you're buying back your own time, your own focus, and your own control. You are not a slave to the day's chaos. You become the architect of it. That one disciplined act in the morning creates space to move deliberately, to plan, to grow, and to execute without rush or pressure. Over time, the structure you build through discipline begins to free you from the things that hold others down: stress, regret, laziness, procrastination, and mediocrity. You start creating your life instead of reacting to it. That freedom is not random. It is earned through the small, consistent choices that no one else is willing to make. Waking up early means you don't chase the day. The day bends around your will. You are calm while others are frantic. You are focused while others are scattered. And that quiet control comes from the repeated decision to do what is necessary, not what is easy. Discipline may feel heavy in the beginning, but the weight of regret is heavier. Freedom belongs to those who earn it through discipline.